Pretty sure. Like that. So now I'm gonna go say 45 minutes before, so I came across that on the computer. But yeah, in this room here, saw it. It was nice. Walked about 10,000. Without a plastic suit. And then they have to go to the pool. And stop around the pool. Be sure it's not that.
We'll open the meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance.
Natasha, come.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have roll call, please.
She's not. She's just not coming. Right. Commissioner Ganette.
Here.
Oh.
Absent.
Commissioner Velarde.
Yep.
Commissioner Kepler. Yes. Commissioner Long.
Here. Thank you.
Yes. Well,
We have no announcement. Before we start with public comment, though, I would like to amend the agenda, and the reason being, the Environmental Council meets on, I believe, Thursday, and our ordinance says that this board will appoint the chairman. So I don't know if anybody has a motion to appoint a chairman so that they can organize when they meet on Thursday. Sure.
Leo, did somebody act as a temporary chair? Like, could Ellen, as the BOC rep, act as temporary chair for the first meeting, and then after they meet, they can discuss who's interested, who they recommend to the board, and then we can choose somebody for the second meeting and on from there?
Yeah, I mean, you can do that. That wouldn't be a problem. But, to come up with a recommendation as to who's interested or who they believe would be the appropriate chair. Yeah, I don't have a problem with that.
I don't know. I see. Is there any members here that want the job? I see Randy here.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, because I do not want it permanently, but but I don't want to. I don't know how everybody feels about that. So, pleasure to the board.
Under Robert's rules, typically what occurs when there's no president of the board is that body will vote on a president pro tempore at the beginning of the meeting, who will preside over that meeting. So we could leave it to them to make that decision at the time.
And I'll just defer to Leo because the ordinance says the board will appoint, and we could not do that.
For the purpose of getting everything off the ground, I don't have a problem with the board meeting. It's going to be a sort of a meet and greet, I assume, set the next meeting date, talk about agendas perhaps. And then one of the things I would ask that the advisory council do is talk about who's interested in chair of the committee, and then bring, let that come back to the board. And June 1st, I think, is our next meeting, have the board appoint a formal chair to the EAC.
Is everybody okay with that?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, then I'll make a motion that we amend the agenda to add the motion to appoint a temporary chairman of the EAC, and also a motion to approve the agenda. We've never done this historically, but we are supposed to approve the agenda. So if we can just add those two motions. I made a motion to add those two. If there's a second.
Yeah, I'll second.
Any discussion? Any public comment? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. So then I will make a motion to approve the agenda with those additions.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Now we will move on to public comment. Is there any public comment? Betsy? Hello.
Can we get the microphone turned on before she starts to make sure we get it for the minutes? I think Jeremy's gonna come up and get it.
That better? Okay.
Thank you.
Do I need to do that again or are we good?
Good.
Hi, I'm
Would you-
Elizabeth Cashano. I live at 198 Staten Road in Pocono Township. So I'm going off the agenda and I have some questions, and hopefully somebody can actually answer them tonight too. I live on Staten Road and I'm sure as everybody has seen, they're digging up the 611 or have paved over it now. I think it's the water or sewer that they're doing. I asked one of the flag people. I don't know if that was a reliable source or not, but I just want to know basically what's going on with the water and sewer. Is this actually now being run down Staten Road? And I wanted to know what should any Staten Road residents like myself or any other homeowner on an affected road expect to happen when the water and sewer is in? What are there mandatory hookups? What are the distances? I remember back in the olden days, it was 300 feet from the sewer. I don't even know if that's also from the water. If it is it both, or is it just the sewer? I'm looking at
Okay.
Patrick. I'm sorry.
Would you like to respond to
Yes,
what I
please.
can? the portion that I
Yeah,
can?
that's
Okay.
good. Thank you.
You're welcome. So first of all, the work that's on 611 right now is actually the continuation of the connection for the Jiffy Lube car wash
Okay.
there, which they started in the winter and now they came back to do the final pave. So
Okay.
that's that portion of it.
Okay.
With respect to sewer hookups, it is still the 300 feet distance from
Where exactly is that? Where does the distance start? Like where my septic system is?
from the dwelling
Yeah.
to
From the dwelling, not from where my
connection.
system is,
No,
from the
from
dwelling.
the
Okay.
dwelling Connection.
And the connection is out on the road,
The
Sort of?
The sewer line will be run in the road there, yes.
in the middle of the road or the side of the road?
I-
And in my case, I don't think it makes a lot of difference. I think
No, I
I'm
don't think it
gonna,
does. I
yeah.
believe it may be on the north side of the road.
Okay.
there, But I would want to look at the plans.
Okay.
John's nodding his head, so that's my recollection.
all right, that's fine.
Okay,
Yeah,
And-
because I know they're building the sewer, the pumping station. Is that what it is? Right across from my house. So
Yes.
I kind of put two and two together and figured it was getting done now. So,
no, there's separate projects from what's going on six.
so nothing to do, one has nothing to do with the other.
No. And then
Okay.
your other question that I can answer is the water is controlled by BCRA, Broadhead Regional Authority. So their ordinances will mandate whether or not you have to connect or anybody else has to connect.
When
That's not
that,
controlled- that's
it's not
controlled by-
happening yet though, right? The
Not-
water part.
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So I'm not done. I got more. Okay. I see they're building the emergency entrance to the Core 5 warehouse, which we kind of knew about from when it was all happening. And they stood in a Bible and swore to God that it was going to be only for emergencies. If there was a fire truck needed to get in, something like that. Who's going to monitor that? I know you're big on monitoring things, which is wonderful. Who's going to monitor that this doesn't just turn into a truck thoroughfare coming out of the back of the warehouse on a Staten Road?
John, are they building a road down to Staten? I didn't realize there was gonna
Oh,
be.
it's
an
happening
emergency
right
road.
now. They're building it right
Like
now.
Clearing trees, but I don't think they're
Yeah,
building a
they're,
road.
they're clearing trees and they may have a construction entrance, but that's got nothing to do with a permanent emergency access.
So that's not where that's going to go?
Emergency access is actually going in by the pump station.
Right across from my house?
That's where I'm confusing that with, I'm sorry, with Tannersville Point, where they're putting a pump station and an emergency access.
They're putting a pump,
different
Core
project.
5's putting a pump station across the street from my house, which is what I
I'm
understood.
not sure where that pump station is being located, to be honest.
I'm looking at it from my house. I can see them there
Okay,
doing it.
okay.
Yeah, I mean, you're the engineer, you know better than I, but they're clearing it. So,
I don't believe there's an emergency
But-
road coming to Staten.
No, I don't
Initially
think-
there was when they were gonna have a warehouse on Staten, but I think we. did
Right,
away with
there,
that.
there's no,
Yeah.
There's no emergency road.
Yeah.
To start.
Okay.
But there may be construction entrance, like I said, and you may be seeing the clearing for the sanitary sewer and for the storm sewer.
But they won't be using that for the trucks to come in and out.
No.
Okay. That's what I was wondering. And then the pumping station across the street from my house, what will that look like on a typical day? I mean, are there a lot of cars going in? And I'm not familiar with the pump station and what happens there.
I'll let
So,
Pat answer that.
Very little activity. There may be
Okay.
days you don't see anybody there.
okay.
There'll be operations folks that go in there periodically, but that'll be it.
Okay. Thank you very much, everybody.
You're
That's it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Any other public comment? Hi, my name is Lisa Latham. I live in Bartonsville in Pocono Laurel Lake. And I'm here because I have some concerns about a new business item you have on your agenda about restricting organized demonstrations and protest activities within designated children's park and playground areas. I won't read the whole thing. I'm concerned about it because I am a believer in all of our rights, including the freedom of speech. And I understand that some rights can be, abridged a bit. Like I saw on your website that even though we have a right to bear arms, there are restrictions about having weapons, even though I've seen people holstered at that park. But there was a demonstration, if you will, at TLC Park that I assume this is a reaction to that. And I actually resent the suggestion that it was unsafe for us to be there for children. We were nowhere near the playground. We were on the grass. We were not obstructing the pathway for cars or for anybody else. As a matter of fact, ducks came right up to us. Nobody was worried about our attendance there. Not only were we talking about our concerns about how high gas prices got, but we were actually collecting for food for mutual aid of the Poconos. So we were there for reasons that we should have the ability to speak publicly about. And I just have concerns. And I hope that you tread very lightly when you have this discussion about whether or not you're going to restrict people's First Amendment rights. Thank you. Thank you. Anyone else? We can bring you the mic. Yeah. Right.
Get in there.
Okay. Hi, my name is John Burns, and I live in the Vodak development. I'm on lot number 2. I happen to be here to ask you not to approve that 4-lot subdivision, making it an R2. My deed says you can't do it. And this is a deed made by the Votek and the county, and it's recorded accordingly. And I can read this deed to you if you have a moment. Being the same premise in which the Monroe County Area Educational Technical Authority by its deed dated 1976 and intended to be recorded, granted, and conveyed to Monroe County Authority. Under the subject of the following conditions and restrictions, which shall apply, which shall be covenants running with the land. The premises hereby conveyed shall not be subdivided. The premises hereby conveyed shall be used for residential purposes only. The building shall be erected, altered, and placed or permitted to remain on the premises hereby conveyed other than one detached single-family dwelling, not to exceed 2 1/2 stories in height, and one incidental building as a private garage for private use incidental to the residential uses. No building shall be located on the premises nearer than 40 feet to any road, or nearer than 15 feet to any side lot, or nearer than 25 feet to the rear of the lot lines. Easements for the installation and maintenance of utilities and drainage facilities are reserved in over and along the 10 feet adjacent to all lot lines. And the grantor reserves for itself, its successors, and assigns the assignment and the right to install construction. The portion of the lands of the grantor shall be shown on the map and the roads and the streets. What this is saying individually, sir, and as a solicitor, this man knows it. No trailers, tents, barns, outbuildings, shacks, or other temporary buildings shall be erected or permitted to remain on the premises used for dwelling purposes. No structure shall be erected upon the premises hereby conveyed without first obtaining the approval in writing of the grantor, its successors, or assigns. The grantor may refuse to approve said structure. And it goes on to say that the successors or assigns approves or disapproves. In other words, it has to stay R1. You can only put single-family dwellings on those lots, and that includes the 4 lots that you're talking about. That's every lot in there. It's grandfathered by Mr. excuse me, by the person who sold them the farm, the Clugstons. They didn't want that. They would have said so if they did. But they made sure that they could not do what you're trying to do.
Leo, can we look into that, or can you say something now? I don't.
I mean, it's talking about the original, it sounds like that it's, the deed is talking about the original conveyance of the property, but I don't,
No.
you see there tonight, I don't know whether that's
No, sir, this is for the whole development.
property. Or,
Every property in there, this is what this states.
I don't. But now without
But
looking at it.
do you need a copy of that, or can we obtain that for you to look at it? I want to.
This is the same deed that everybody got. It's a common deed. You know, all they did was fill in your name when you bought the place.
I know
Excuse me, but
restrictions, but if
No,
there is.
I just don't understand from reading that what lot or lots or tracts of land they're referring to. I just don't know based on that.
the 4 lots.
See the plan, I need to see that, and it should all be recorded.
Okay.
I mean, the lots that we have been talking about are already subdivided.
Right.
They're zoned R1. We're down to 1, 2, 3, 4 lots that they want, or that the board is considering changing from R1 to R2.
That's right.
There is a split lot that I wanted to talk about tonight just to get direction. But with that deed, I need to see the deed. I need to check the plan that deed is referring to make sure that we're talking about the same property.
Do you
Oh, we
want
are.
a copy of that deed? Because
That would help immensely.
Erica, can we get a copy?
What do you want, Lonnie?
You want a copy of it?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Wait,
Uh,
don't give away our last copy.
Oh,
Okay. Now, I've been in touch with a lot of people. Some of them are lawyers. I spent a lot of time with this township. We started the civil service. I was one of the original ones that started it. I spent a lot of years working for this township. To have this happen to me took a lot out of me. And it's still taking a lot out of me.
we're gonna look into it.
I appreciate that immensely. But my wife, you can finish up, please. I can't.
Thank you.
Please, don't approve that. It will. Please, I'm begging you. Helen, I remember you when you were a fighter
When I was
for the township,
a fighter.
for
I'm
us.
still a fighter.
Okay.
And now
Okay.
I'm hurt. I'm hurt. I really am.
As you can all can see, this is very difficult for him to come here. It takes all I can do to get him out. And I may cry because it's an awful thing to have spent 50 years of your life building this house and taking care of it. You come sit in my sunroom. We put on a beautiful sunroom in the back. And now what do I look out at on Mill County? BOTEC school. I see a parking lot. You can't even sit on your deck and enjoy it. If you want to, come live in my house and see would you like that next door to you? I'm very upset myself. I do all the outside work. My property is gorgeous. But the rest of the people in the development, the BOTEC does not take care of the development. Our rude road going down, it's horrible. And I know that you guys have nothing to do with that. I'm just expressing how I feel and how we feel. Those 4 lots, when I sit in my sunroom, I will look at those 4 lots right there out of my chair. It's all wooded. It's beautiful. I don't need to look at more of the BOTEC school. And the reason they want them, this is my thought, because they're too lazy to walk. If they put these lots and they did the lots in the back of the school, they might have to walk a little bit. This way, they'll walk out of the building and they'll walk over to the 4 lots that are right there. So please, consider us. And you guys, when it comes election time, we always go to the elections. Even him will go to election tomorrow, no matter how much it takes him. So we'll remember when you make your votes. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comments? Sorry, Gina? Sure.
I'm Gina Loyak, and I live in Pocono Township. And I feel your pain. They're building a data center next to my house. And I have a burn hotel. So I understand that we are all going through pains in this township. However, to talk about the school, that is my pipeline for employees. Those kids work so hard. Okay, I employ them. They get paid fair wages. They will have insurance in 6 months. They're not lazy to walk through the class. Believe me, the place is impeccable. I'm so impressed. I wish that school was there when I was a kid. I'd be a much better contractor today if they did. But those kids work hard.
They do.
Okay. And everyone in this town, I hear they don't have housing.
I'm sorry, only one speaking at a time.
Affordable housing. They don't have this, they don't have that, but you put roadblocks for everything that we are going to do as your voice, right? With your voice. I'm talking to you guys. That's why I'm facing that way. With your voice, you're stopping this school from growing. There is such a need for these trades right now. Very much so. One of the largest asset managers in the world, if not the largest, just put $100 million into putting money into these trade schools because they see the future. We have no carpenters. We have no plumbers. We have no HVAC. You know, last generation, me being one of them, I pushed my kids to go to college, even if it was a sociology degree. That's what we wanted. So now we have no carpenters. This school is preparing these guys to not live off the government, to have a job, to be able to pay for their living and their family. It's a good school. And yes, sometimes it takes change. 4 lots they're down to, that's nothing. They should have got the whole lot, in my opinion, from the beginning. But they are hardworking and we do need it. We need these type of workers. Not everybody's going to be a banker. Not everybody's going to be a financial banker. I'm sorry. We need those kind of people. They work for me. They're great kids. And I'll keep employing them as long as they keep sending them over.
Any other public comment? In the back?
Nobody better ring a bell.
You have 3 minutes.
She had at least. And she should be talking to the board according to your ordinances, right? Not not them, who just spoke. And that's not okay either, but that's okay.
Your name, please.
Laughed at, mocked, harassed. An 84-year-old man got pneumonia dragging himself in here last time because in 2024, a lot next to him plus two other lots were spot zoned, built on that loom over his house, flood his yard, and I live a street over. Now, 1 year later, they want to build again. They didn't plan to build big enough. The first 1,700 square feet they did in 2025, they finished in April. So you want to do it again on a wetland, period, is illegal. So I have all the other things that you have to follow here. All height, area setbacks and coverage standards within the applicable zoning districts. Any off-street parking has to be 20 feet back from her property or any property line. That's rural one. To zone those the whole thing for rezoning those lots was so the kids could build on them. Sorry, she's not here today. But then when that didn't work, you went to, well, let's just give them 4 lots because the one they just built 1 year ago wasn't big enough. Let's let them build a little bit more. That's why I started coming to these meetings. That's how I opened this horrible can of worms that led into him and everyone else. And it's horrible. You just appointed a man to a board that is attacking and harassing a seated commissioner. I was attacked and harassed in the parking lot, and he witnessed it. Nobody does anything about it. People are laughing. If it was your family who was being messaged and emailed and called douche nozzles and all kinds of disgusting things as early as Saturday, I saw it. Who's gonna stop this? Isn't it criminal to harass people? Isn't it criminal, especially as a elected government official, to scream at someone for speaking at a meeting in a parking lot when they're trying to make peace with you? I mean, you're a police chief. Shouldn't I be able to do this and walk peacefully in my car and not feel terrified to go anywhere? Because he has 50 million friends who are all MAGA who want to kill me. It's not funny. Does it sound funny? You are sorry. Are you sorry for my family or Charles's family? No. Nobody is. Or their family. My 3 minutes are up, but it's disgusting. And I hope everyone sees it. I mean,
Just tell us your name. I don't think she
it's
got it.
Patrice Lanucci.
Okay.
I live on Mary Lou Lane. My whole reason for coming was because my house has eroded. I've spent more money than we even make. Those are my sons who have been harassed through the school system. And we were the first people assaulted in Monroe County on a basketball court because my sons are discriminated against. So let me tell you about it. Let me just open that can of worms and then we'll see where all this goes. Thank you.
Any other public comment? Cheryl?
Hi, Cheryl Parks, 150 Ruby Lane, taxpayer for 39 years. So 2 weeks ago, we had the big tree eating machine coming down the property line, which was right the day after the last meeting. Again, nobody was made to put down where the 10 feet was from our property line. So we didn't know that. A heads up would have been a kind thing to do because it was really stressful. And I don't know if anybody here knew that was going to happen that day or whatever. We're up to 45 blasts now. My house is, every time they blast, it gets worse. I'd like to know if you're putting a road up through there, if that's going to be gated off to check the lines. I'd like to know when, if they're going to blast 40 feet from my house or not, and when this is going to happen. And I just think that not this board, but in 2020, when this warehouse was put through, I just can't believe that nothing was put in to protect the residents of Kevin's Way or Ruby Lane. We have been, it's like we're the great unwashed or something. We were like, sacrifice them to not even leave one tree behind Kevin's Way for those people, and to do this and to waive all the variances. I do not, or give variances for all the zoning ordinances. I don't understand the point of the zoning office, the zoning rules, if you're not going to enforce them. It was the same thing with the kennel. They weren't enforced either. So as far as we're concerned, we've just been gaslit between the kennel stuff and the warehouse stuff and all this. And I'm still waiting to get, I have something I wanted to read. And this comes from the Department of the DEP, Pennsylvania DEP. And this is about the pre-blast survey. And it says what is a pre-blast survey? A pre-blast survey will document the conditions of the structure and record any pre-blast damage and other physical factors that could reasonably be affected by blasting on the proposed permit. A sample of the dwelling's water supply shall be taken into account. And it should be taken into account the quality and quantity of the supply. Copies of this completed survey will be supplied to the resident or owner of the structure, the Bureau of Mining and Reclamation, and the operator conducting the survey. So we've been told that they just changed their mind, even though we got a letter saying we were going to get copies of that. And then, oh, well, they changed their mind. I talked to Heath, and I still can't find out his last name. And he flat out told me that they didn't have to give us that. And this comes from the ordinance. So I don't understand how he wouldn't even know that. And it'd be nice if we could have some, more information. And are they going to blast next to my house? Because right now I'm not going to have a house left. And the people in Kevin's Way, I can't even believe that was, and I know this board didn't do it, but I'm just hoping that the next thing, the people on Cherry Church Lane Road will be treated better or not have all their rights taken away. Because right now, our property values are destroyed. Thank you.
Is there any other public comment?
Hi, my name is Donna McMahon, and I'm really not very good at this, but I'm going to try again. I wanted to follow up with that last woman's comment about the demonstration and protest activities near the designated children's park. Well, I believe in the First Amendment and everything too, but what I really wanted to know, and I guess the township would provide for an alternative designated areas to protest. And I was just wondering where those designated areas might be.
Yes, and we will be discussing that when
Oh,
it comes
okay.
up. Yes.
My next thing was the other woman that was talking about being harassed and everything. I was out in town the other day and I found this, and it is really awful. And I think it really should be brought to somebody's attention. But just because some people speak up and try to do things a little differently, they're really being harassed. And last but not least, any update on the library?
I actually spoke to the woman who is, I think, being considered for appointment to the Eastern Monroe Public Library Board this past weekend at the Pocono Jackson Historical Society open house. I gave her a brief description of, my understanding of what's been going on. I think she's hopefully going to be, she's a new person being appointed. I'm hoping she's going to be an advocate for our community. And I'm going to be in touch with her to see what we can do to get the library back here in Pocono.
So I should be going to the library meetings down at the main library?
If you can make it there, I'm sure it would help. Definitely go and speak out and talk about why you want.
What about this? What should I do with this?
Did I see that?
Yeah,
We
it
don't know
really
what that
was.
is.
discuss.
Where did you find?
With one of the, I try to, get all my work done locally. So is that one of the local buildings?
I recognize the picture on there.
Yeah.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. Any other public comment?
My name is Donna Jennings. I'm from Long Pond. I'm here to address the motion to amend the park ordinance to restrict organized demonstrations. And just short and sweet, I just wanted to urge the supervisors to uphold the First Amendment, protect traditional public forums, and reject any unconstitutional restrictions on peaceful public rallies in township parks. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Terry Corso, and I live over in Broadheadsville. And it is about the parks, about the demonstrations at the park, because I believe that anything that happens in one township in Monroe County easily can translate over to other townships as well. And I do hope that this body, this elected body, will consider those First Amendment rights. I hope that you will think carefully about what this last protest was. As Lisa said, it was very peaceful. There was no concern for children at all. And I hope you will simply let it go, because the next thing I think will happen is not only will you have to be required to get a permit, but people will start being charged for those permits as well. And that will keep others away from doing that. So thank you very much for listening.
Gina Loyak again on that same topic. My question is, does the township right now have an ordinance? So yes, it is our First Amendment right. I truly believe in that. Is there an ordinance, just like we have a noise ordinance for parties, which, you know, whatever you're doing in your house, there's ordinances that can be put in place for these demonstrations to take place and where they're going to take place, what time they're going to take place, how loud they can be, where the parking is going to be. I think that towns have an ordinance within that, and it's not a restriction of their First Amendment right. However, there is rules to it. So is that something that this town has? That
We
they're
don't have one per se, but it will be discussed tonight. It's on the agenda.
Thank you.
Any other public comment? Jim?
Peaceful protests. Welcome to America. First Amendment, Second Amendment. We saw you defend the Second Amendment, and that's fine. First Amendment, I passed by that protest. There was a handful of people, maybe 10, 15. Charles, I don't know what the numbers were, but it was quiet. It was very nice. I can't imagine. I mean, I've grown up with this all my life. And our kids, and hopefully, with any luck, at all our grandkids will see it. This is how things move. This is how things get brought to public awareness. And the pain at the gas pump, I feel it. Matter of fact, I was coming back from it when I saw you guys in the parking lot. I don't think any child was in danger at all, not even close. And they're children of America. They're going to see it. They're going to see it on TV. They're going to see it on social media, God help us. It's everywhere. It's ingrained in our society. I'm more worried about active shooter drills, high capacity magazines, and assault rifles in the hands of crazy citizens. I don't want your guns. Some common sense. Protesting is just part of it. And it wasn't even loud. It was nice. Now, if you want to move it, yeah, whatever. But restricting it, no, it's not right. You know, we passed the second one in sanctuary city township thing. Fantastic. It's time to stand up for the First Amendment now. Thank you for your time.
Say one more thing, or is one all we got?
Well, we've already had somebody go twice, so go ahead.
Okay, thanks. Elizabeth Cashano again, Pocono Township. So I saw the park ordinance on Facebook and I reacted probably badly because I didn't understand, which is why I came tonight. So I figured, well, don't open your mouth and complain if you don't understand what the ordinance actually is. So my first take on the post that I saw was not the concern of a nice group of people, protesting calmly and peacefully about something that's important, that matters to them. My concern was there's a lot of crazy lunatic people. The world is weird and crazy right now. And what is going to say that you guys can peacefully protest, but you can't come over here and put a cross up in the middle of the park and light it on fire and start running around with white hoods on? Like, who? I'm sorry if I sound like I don't know even what I'm trying to say, but like, do you get to say who can and who can't protest? You don't, right? So it's like, if it's good for the goose, it has to be good for the gander. Well, that's the part that makes me nervous about the protesting, not the people that do it respectfully. I'm talking about the people that, you're already having people tearing up your pickleball courts. I mean, I don't know. What if a really, really, really bad element, and it would be for everybody, not just for me, decides to protest at the park, and it's violent and it's frightening and it's scary? How do you tell those people you can't do that without telling those people you can't do that? That's the part that I got upset about on Facebook, because I don't understand how you control that. And I don't want that, unfortunately, in my town. I would love
I'm
to
sorry,
have
one
that.
person at a time. Nobody in the audience should be talking.
Yeah, I would love to have that. I think that's peaceful and it's respectful and trying to get their point across. I don't want that. So how do we make me feel better about that? That's all I wanted to say.
Thank you. Joe?
Since everybody had a chance to, I just want to say one thing.
Yeah, I too went by the protest. It was peaceful, it was calm, very orderly. My concern is whether there's enough room for protesting. You're going to get a lot of people that will be there, pickleball. Now that it's summer, the splash pad. Is there enough parking for all that to take place? Other areas that were considered were by the old municipal building, we were talking about by the fire department. Plenty of room there, plenty of parking, plenty of visibility. I have nothing against anybody wanting to protest for what they believe in. But she's right about it could invite other entities to want to do the same, whether they're Hell's Angels or whatever. You have to afford them the same rights as you give them. And that's what we had to be careful about.
Thank you. Go ahead, Jack.
I only have one thing to say. If I thought that this would hurt the kids in any way, I wouldn't be here. But they don't need those 4 lots to build homes. They do not need them. The reason they want to do it is because they overshot their luck up on with the VOTEC up there, and they got caught, and they got fined. And now they're trying to sell their soul to make it right. No. Stay with one building. I don't care if they build a house next door to me. That's not the whole problem. The whole problem is what they're going to build. That's all I have. Thank you for listening, and thank you for the second chance.
Sure.
Second.
Okay, we're going to end
It's
public
a free
comment by
country.
7.
It's a free country, right? On the park ordinance proposal, it was a melee on that post, and after reading your ordinance proposal, I was like, seriously? It is, I'm the daughter of a World War II veteran, a police officer. My sister was a police officer. My brother's a fire marshal. I'm a lifetime resident of our township. I've gone through some crap in this township, so I know all of what's going on. And we usually have to just turn our head and keep moving. But I'm tired of turning my head and keep moving. So if there's going to be restrictions on where I can publicly be and enjoy my person and my rights in a park, that's a public park, not a children's park. There are children's play things at every park. Then I don't think our pavilions at Mountain View Park should be leased out to MAGA or any Republican events or anything like that, because that could get violent, because the only violence I see is out of the mouths and through these other individuals. I don't curse and threaten people's well-being or talk about any of that stuff, but that happens, and I am going to come see him and show everything I have, because I can't take it anymore that our board had a chance to flip what happened in 2025 and you all started, and then some of the good old boys came in, shook the whole thing up, and now it's a divided partisan, nonpartisan, whatever you want to call it, board. And I can't stand the obvious discrimination and persecution of this young man who didn't grow up here and doesn't know who he's not supposed to offend. And he's learning it through 80 million of these people. And I'm not going to sit back and let it happen to him or his wife and his son. And if you all do, it's disgusting. And it's against the law. It is criminal. It is, and to put someone who's doing it along with another sitting commissioner and another sitting commissioner, what do you do about that? Because I'm looking into it and I see that you can vote someone out and give them notice and make it known, because it can't happen that we put a man on a advisory board who has a conflict of interest, and 10 orders were passed from the last board, and $12,500 were given to a man who was proven to have a hand in the honey jar. So I can't, my head is spinning from all this. Makes no sense, but that's how it works in my head. I know you're hearing it. Please stop this. Do the right thing. To go back to doing the right things. Please.
Thank you. Is there anyone on, Erica? Is there anyone online that needs to speak? No. Okay. Yes, sir. You had your hand up before.
Hello, my name is Tim Harrison in Pocono Township. I was wondering what the status is of the zoning ordinance changes that was going to go change to the different zones of C to C1, C2, C3. Is there a status on that?
It's still in the works. We're still working on it. Yeah. There's no deadline right now.
There's no hurry then, yeah?
There's been multiple meetings. Yeah, we've had how many meetings over the past couple?
Well, every
months?
month, every month.
162.
Yeah, so there's been public meetings with the planning commission, without the planning commission. So it's still being
At
developed.
this point, how are they leaning?
So
How is what's this?
Which part of it?
Well, the dividing the present C status into various different zones.
There's been no votes. I don't know how the other four are thinking. I know that I think it's generally a good idea to go from C to the 3 zones, because you can place some restrictions in the different commercial zones.
Right.
So I think the board generally supports the idea of it, but we're finalizing the details before moving forward.
I see.
Did you have a specific concern?
Well, sure. I have a specific concern on Cherry Church Road up there. That's all up 715. That's presently C. It doesn't need to be anything but R1 anyway, but dealing with what is presently there, I think it'd be a shame to put high-rise commercial structures on Cherry Church Road.
That's what the zones are actually for, so.
Well, that's what they're for, except it's C, and you can go ahead and do that. Now, if you,
Yeah, these changes will limit high rises from going there, so it would be a good change for Cherry Lane Church.
which is why I'm asking what the status is.
Yeah, I think, like I said, the board seems generally supportive of it. I am. We haven't had a vote yet. I can't speak for the other four, but I think we're
Okay.
moving forward and finalizing the details.
Well, okay. Let's move forward with some urgency, shall we? Yeah.
Thank you.
Tim, just so you know, that's all part of a comprehensive rewrite we're doing. So it's all going to be approved at once the entire, thing has been reviewed, and it's all going to be done as a package deal because the C1, C2, C3 includes like all the changes that are in the whole zoning book. So yeah.
But at this point, there's no prognosis.
No, I don't think there's a specific date. There are a few more meetings before we're wrapped up.
We're going to move on to presentations.
Good evening. I'm Missy Hutchison. I work with John at T&M Associates. And I'm presenting the Pocono Township's MS4 program. Just so you know, the township does comply with all the required minimum control measures. However, we are still required to report to the commissioners every year with the presentations. MS4 is defined as a conveyance or system of conveyances, including roads with drainage systems, municipal streets, catch basins, curbs, gutters, ditches, man-made channels, or storm drains, where the system is owned or operated by a township having jurisdiction over stormwater discharge, is designed or used for collecting or conveying stormwater. It is not a combined sewer, and it is not part of a publicly owned treatment works. The township's MS4 permit originally was effective December of 2018. And since then they have renewed it. The new permit was issued July 1st of 2025 and it'll expire June 30th of 2030. The permit allows the township to discharge its MS4 system to Butts Run, unnamed tributaries to Butts Run, Cranberry Creek, Pocono Creek, Bulgers Run, and unnamed tributaries to Bulgers Run, and unnamed tributaries to the Broadhead Creek. The first minimum control measure is public education outreach. Every year, there is a program that we review and update as needed. That program provides a targeted audience list. It tells the township or directs the township how it should distribute stormwater related materials through social media, Facebook, Savvy Citizen, things like that. Minimum control measure number 2 is public involvement and participation. Again, there's a program that we review and update every year. It also includes any stormwater management ordinance changes. So any changes would require a public comment period under the MS4. It solicits public involvement and participation, including this presentation, any cleanups the township does, pick up the Poconos participation is included in this as well. The third minimum control measure is illicit discharge detection and elimination. There's 6 BMPs in this one. We review and update the program again. We maintain outfall mapping and storm sewer mapping throughout the township. We conduct dry weather screenings. We do that 2 times every 5-year permit period. Any stormwater management ordinance changes related to illicit discharge would fall under this minimum control measure. And we also provide public outreach and to public employees and the target audience. Minimum control measure number 4 is construction site stormwater runoff control. This ensures that any disturbance over 1 acre does get an NPDES permit. We notify the conservation district of any projects that are over 1 acre and any ordinances that require enforcement of erosion controls. That's also completed. Minimum control measure number 5 is post-construction stormwater management. Again, any post-construction stormwater management that's in your ordinance is enforced. Low impact development is provided where appropriate. And enforcement of proper operation and maintenance of PCSM BMPs. TNM goes out every year and observes the existing outlets that are within the township, any basin outlets within the township. And minimum control measure number 6 is pollution prevention and good housekeeping. This is related to township operated facilities. There's a not public education, but Public Works has a brief education every year to discuss what should be done on the public works yard or township parks and things like that. The township also has a pollutant reduction plan. The proposed pollutant reduction plan was approved in 2018. The township is required to reduce a sediment load per year through a combination of BMPs that were listed in that pollution reduction plan. And then annual reporting requirements. There is an annual report that's due every September 30th. That includes the period between July 1st and June 30th. And there is also an MS4 fee. So are there any questions, comments?
Yes.
Yes.
Sorry, I'm gonna put you on the spot.
That's okay.
So the pollutant reduction says we're required to reduce 2,380 pounds of sediment per year.
Mm-hmm.
How is that measured and did we meet our mark?
That is measured based upon the drainage area and your land uses. So, and it's a very simple calculation. It's impervious, non-impervious area. So there's a formula that DEP has provided that we use to figure out your sediment load that needs to be reduced. It has not been implemented yet.
So we're not doing this.
We are not doing the PRP has not been implemented yet.
Is that because we don't have to, or we just haven't done it?
You just haven't done it yet.
Since 2018?
Yes.
When might we do that? When should we?
Well,
obviously
I mean-
should. I mean, and how would that work then?
Right. So every year we do provide a notification explaining what needs to be done to the township. We have not done that yet. We haven't been approached to move forward with the PRP implementation yet. There is one area, and it's tough because it's between the bog and Penn Estates. So access to that area is tough, but that's where the PRP has shown where BMP should be implemented to meet your sediment reduction. And BMPs being infiltration, basin retrofitting, forest buffer, stream restoration.
So do you give us a report telling us what we should do and then we implement it? How?
So the first step to implement this is to get access to the property because it is between those two areas. And then also we need to do some initial testing. Will infiltration work in that area? You know, can we put a basin? Should we do a forest buffer? So there are some initial steps that have to be taken in order to start designing and implementing the plan.
Is that the Cranberry Bog area?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So you're saying we don't have access. Is that, I'm not sure what that means. Is it privately owned or why don't we have access?
Well, it is privately owned. There is no road that goes directly to that piece of land. So that's something that has to be figured out.
Okay. Gotcha. And then my other question is, do things like the solar field fiasco, does that come into play with this, or is that not our problem? That's private property, or is that part of the MS4?
So the MS4 is, there is an urbanized area that falls under the MS4 program. The solar field is not within that urbanized area. So we would not go out there every year to inspect the site under this program.
Under this program.
Yeah.
Okay. That's all I had. Anybody else have anything?
Oh, and if you'd like, we can put together a memo summarizing what we think the next step should be regarding the sediment elimination so that we're not scrambling at the last minute. A lot of townships don't address this until DEP starts to lean on them, but we can at least put together a memo of what your options are, what we think the next steps are, so that you can be prepared and have some time to think about it.
I think that would be helpful. If the board agrees.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you would, that'd be great. Okay.
It is, but
So at any point, they could say, have you done this? And we'd have to say, not yet. Is that, or is there a drop dead date?
well, we'd have to say not yet. And Leo, you can speak to this, but Leo just brought up a point, and it's one of many DEP unfunded mandates.
Oh, yes.
That's why people tend to drag their feet.
You know, there are costs associated with some of these requirements. And they're imposed upon townships by the DEP, but they're unfunded mandates. So I think if you guys are going to do a memo, we should also, I think the board should also be aware of anticipated costs in the implementation of this, so they can pull the trigger on the ones that are important, that they're willing to, not that they're not all important, don't mistake what I'm saying, but that they can prioritize, I guess is a better way to say it, prioritize what they want, what they are required to implement, and then look at the costs that are associated and adjust budgets accordingly, because it is an unfunded mandate.
Thank you.
And I can just give you one example. One reason not to proceed too quickly is in Smithfield Township, we had a situation where a developer came in and proposed a project within one of the areas that had to be addressed. And as part of his plan, he was willing to address that for the township. So we're constantly aware of those opportunities, but by the same token, you should probably be made aware of what the potential requirements would be absent that fortuitous event.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Have a good night.
You too. Okay, next we have a resolution. Do we have a motion to approve resolution 2026-20, extending the time for the Erdl development for Wawa? Would anybody like to make that motion? First, bottom of the first. Oh, yep.
I already flipped the page. Yeah, I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Okay.
How long are we extending this for?
This is just until school's out. They can't start until school's out because the buses are running.
Can we get a date added to the motion?
There is a date on the resolution.
July 6th.
Let's see what it is.
Is
July
is-
5th.
June 9th. Oh,
June 9th?
No.
Okay.
I see they shall have.
I'm sorry, 60 days from June 9th.
Excuse me, Ellen, I think you're confusing that with the
Do I have it?
Learn Road
Oh, I'm sorry.
roundabout.
I'm sorry.
The Erdl amendment you have approved last meeting to have Leo prepare the resolution. So now it's really just a matter of adopting the resolution.
Yeah, it says they shall have until July 6th to satisfy the conditions of the preliminary final plan approval and record the plan as set forth. In the event the conditions are not met by July 6th, the conditional preliminary final plan approval shall be null and void.
Thank you.
Yeah, Attorney Brown presented at our last meeting, addressed the board, discussed the situation. It's one matter he needs to get, or that Mr. Erdl needs to get put into place. This is just formal confirmation of the action of the board last meeting.
Okay. So there's a motion and a second. Any discussion, other discussion? Any public comment? Anybody online? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Next, I'm going to make a motion to ratify the approval of hiring the investigator for the most recent investigation. We had the investigation, but we hadn't voted on it yet. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
Motion carried. Next, we need a motion to approve a consent agenda.
Betsy, is there? Hand up?
Was there a public comment for that investigator, rather be an investigation for the investigator investigation?
I did not, but if you'd like to make a comment, I'm sorry.
I don't have a comment. I just don't understand what it is.
Could you just please come up to the microphone?
Leo, are we allowed?
It's very, we had a personnel investigation and that's really all we could say. We had to hire an
That's
investigator.
fine.
Yeah.
I saw it on the agenda. I'm like, what is that? Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Okay. On our next, we have our minutes and I would just like to amend our minutes. And I think I sent an email out, so it might have already been in process. I don't, Pat, it was, you got my email. So I just want to amend them to include public comment and the subject matter. So I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes that once they are amended to include the subject matter on public comment. Is there a second? Okay.
Well, do we want to?
Do you want to wait?
Yeah, I was going to say wait and make sure that it's okay with you, and then approve the next meeting.
Then I'll withdraw my thing and make a motion to table till the next meeting.
Second.
It would be point of order. We would need to make a motion to postpone to the next meeting, not a motion to table.
Okay. I'll change that. I'll amend that to postpone till the next meeting. Second. Any discussion? Public comment? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Next, I'll make a motion to approve the financial transactions through May 18th as presented, including the ratification of expenditures in the amount of $677,094.99 for the general fund, sewer operations, gross payroll, capital reserve, and construction fund. Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion? Public comment?
Jim.
Jim?
Not on this specifically, but in lieu of the deed review, are you going to put off the MCTI thing for tonight? Are you going to table it maybe? Because it's way down on the list and this young man here is probably waiting around for it. That's all.
I don't know until we get there.
We're on the
Say
second.
if you could lift it up a little, move it up.
I think we'll get there fairly quickly, I hope. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. For new business, we have material bids, but there's a motion to reject them, but I didn't see the amounts. So do we have something like that?
So unfortunately, we didn't receive a very robust bid result. And I thought Chris Ann was putting it in the,
I might have missed it. I don't want to.
it may be in here, but the short answer is the one bidder, the location, the proximity to Pocono Township is so far away that the cost for the material for trucking, it blows it out. So there's actually a CoStar's bid amount that beats that price when you consider the distance. One was 54 miles and the other was quite a bit further than that. I think it was 180 some miles. We actually looked at it on a map. But there were only select items bid by two other bidders in addition to the CoStar. So I don't know, John, maybe next year, is there another, I mean, can we go pen bid for this? Would that help generate a better bid response? What's your experience? Is this something that's typical with other townships too, that there's less
It's probably because of the fuel.
We have this problem in Delaware Township, Pike County all the time, just because of its location, and the prices we get are very high. Regarding your question, I'm not sure you can just, I suppose you could do just materials on pen bid. It's normally construction projects, but you're just doing a material bid. What avenue did you use? Just the municipal?
The standard bid document.
Shoot you an email tomorrow. You gotta check it out though. I don't know offhand.
Okay. I'll follow up with you tomorrow.
So, yeah, without knowing what they are, I don't know that I can reject something. I don't know what it is, but, can we just postpone this? Is that the right word?
Did you have a clause? I mean, a lot of times bids you can hold for 60 days. I would say you could hold until the next meeting.
Okay, then I'll make a motion that we postpone, the material bid until our next meeting.
Second.
Any discussion? Any public comment? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. And you'll just get us those amounts that,
I have
whenever.
Christine actually has a spreadsheet.
Yeah, okay,
There's not a lot there.
okay, thank you. Next, do we have a motion to waive the fee for the Tannersville Lions Club?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Any discussion? Public comment? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Next, I believe I'm just gonna ask Jim for a dollar amount
Yes.
or
not to exceed amount.
Yeah, so what we budgeted for 2026 was for 2 police vehicles. Each would be $108,170. So we did purchase a lot of parts prior to avoid tariffs and things early. So I don't know how much a lot of the other parts that we haven't got yet are going to where that's going to go, but I would say not to exceed 110,000. I'm going to try to use some of the equipment that's in. We're replacing 2 vehicles and some of the parts that we can transfer over. So that will lead to some savings also. So
Okay. Then I'll make a motion to approve the purchase of 2 new fully outfitted police Ford Explorers at a price of not to exceed $110,000 each, which were budgeted for 2026. Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion? Any public comment? Anybody online? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Well, I'll do this since I kind of already started that. Do a motion to approve a change order number 1 for the Learn Road Roundabout project. This is a date extended because they can't do the job while school's still in. Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion?
Patrice. There's a couple.
Yeah, we'll wait. Any public comment?
Patrice Lanucci, Bartonsville, PA. Why would we be giving money to this developer who I don't have really the words to use because I don't want to be in a lawsuit, but I assume
This
There-
bid was approved by the.
I know,
That's why.
but it was approved before you came in, right?
No, I've been here.
But I believe it was approved in the prior board and then
I was the prior board.
I know. So follow me. I have screenshots of Mr. W and Mr. Van Fleet saying they're going to withdraw all their money they donate to this township and they should tell all their friends to do the same because of him being on the board. So why are we giving our township taxpayer money to do a roundabout that we don't need? Proposed by 2 individuals who have lobbied and done everything they could do to get these things for these people. Is what I don't see why we would continue to do that, give someone money who's telling people to take money away from us. And I don't want to get sued, so don't assume that is anyone's name that I know, because it isn't. Thank you.
Patrice, just so you know, oh, sorry. Patrice, just so you know, this board did make the motion to award the bid. I actually made the motion
Thank
myself.
you. Please.
So yes, no, we did award the
Thank you.
bid. This is a change order. We can't reject it.
I don't know what
The
that
bid is
means
awarded, yeah.
to us, a change order, but like I'm hearing like when I read that literally Saturday, the post, and then liked and smiled by a previous manager, a current sitting. I don't understand how that can even flow. So somebody should handle that.
Any other public comment? Mr. Harrison? Yes.
I guess my question is what's changed?
The date.
We have a change order. Yeah.
The only thing that changed is the date because they can't do the operation while the school buses are still running. They have to wait till school gets out.
Thought they were doing the operation because the school buses are running.
But you can't close the intersection while the school buses are running. So they're gonna work during the summer when there's no school buses.
So,
It'll be done by
so,
August 7th.
so that
That's
was
the
changed.
change.
That wasn't in the original.
What the original date was, but
I see.
the new date is August 7th.
I can clarify. We wanted to hold the contractor's feet to the fire, so we only wanted to give them 60 days.
Yes.
Contractor said that he has to order materials and there is a lag time in getting his materials, and he wants to be able to hit the ground running once school start or leaves out. So we gave him a notice to proceed before school let out so that he
Right.
would order
That's
materials.
that's what I had thought that.
But then we had to change the contract time so that everything was documented. So we changed the time, but made sure that he
Still
understood.
needs to be done by
60
before
days.
the, right.
Exactly.
Okay.
Thank you. Any other public comment? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Next, we need a motion to waive and return the Pocono Mountain East Little League permit fees.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Any discussion?
They
Yeah.
approved the
Yeah.
approved the fields.
The
So
Very nice.
give them a break.
Very nice. Yep. And any public comment? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Next, I'll make a motion to amend the park ordinance to restrict organized demonstrations and protest activities within designated children's parks and playground areas where necessary to promote child safety, pedestrian access, public welfare, and the intended recreational use of the facilities, and to provide for alternative designated areas. Is there a second?
A second.
Discussion.
Yeah, there's absolutely no place at TLC Park for a protest, including people holding signs asking to have our president murdered. There was signs at that protest that said 8647.
That doesn't mean murder.
Oh, yeah, it does. Well, look, this is
Content doesn't matter though for our purposes.
8647 means kill the president. Okay. So when there's violence like that,
You can't make stuff up. Don't make stuff up.
Jumped us in the park.
Hey, please, the audience, Mike has the floor right now.
so I saw on the news, and there was a woman holding a sign that said 8647, and it had a skull and crossbones on it, and she was hiding her face with it. And I saw that on WBRE the night of that protest. Okay. There was other signs similar to that. And I know the original reason for the protest was because of high gas prices. Hey, look, I don't like paying high gas prices either, but It's what happens. So, but if you want to protest high gas prices, fine, but don't encourage people to murder our president. That's all.
Okay, I'm
Madam-
just going to refer to our attorney because we really can't discuss content. It's not about content. But Leo, do you want to address that a little?
Thank you, Madam Chair. First Amendment is obviously one of the bedrocks and foundations of our country. As a result of that, a municipality or any form of government is not permitted in any way to regulate the content. So with what some people perceive the good allows what some people perceive as bad, perception becomes a reality. So we take content right out of this. The law, as I've looked at it, and it's been summarily, as I've looked at it, allows municipalities to regulate time, place, and manner of protests. It also permits and requires, if you're going to limit someone's right to speech or right to assemble, it also requires that an alternative, equally as accessible area be permitted. And what I mean by that is there's a case where there was a public park right across the street from a city hall. So the protesters would go there to express their feelings and wanted to make sure that City Hall heard what they were saying. The municipality prohibited people from protesting in that area without providing a suitable alternative area to get their message out. It was challenged. The prohibition was ruled unconstitutional. Any restriction on assembly and freedom of speech can be challenged. However, a municipality may restrict public gathering, and I call it protest, demonstration, whatever term you choose, provided that it provides for adequate areas to hold a protest and provide access that those individuals are seeking. In this instance, as I understand it, TLC Park, while not exclusively children, but it's a smaller park with limited parking. The township has alternative areas, at least from what I understand, alternative areas to allow protests to get anybody who wishes to voice an opinion, visibility, access, and a much safer confines to Route 611. Those areas would include the old municipal facility, which contains, my understanding is, more parking than TLC Park and is located and is visible from 611. I also believe that Glenwood Hall, the building that recently was acquired by the township, which is again right on 611, has additional parking and has an area that would allow larger gatherings. So long as the motive is health, safety, welfare, then while it can be challenged, it is also something that can be imposed.
Madam Chair, if I may have the floor.
Sure.
This is simply unacceptable. There is no place for government to be deciding where we can express our First Amendment right to speak. Deciding that protest is a different form of speech, that is a decision about content. You know, if I were to wear a T-shirt down at the park that said "Rise Against the Machine" or something like that, Rage Against the Government, some kind of scary political pin, is that a protest? What if 10 people show up doing it? What if 30 people show up doing it? Where do we draw the line? The idea that there isn't enough parking at this park. We have dozens of people there. I mean, I was at the fishing derby. How many people were at the fishing derby? 100, 200? That, like, the idea that we we can't accommodate the number of people there. Yes, there is parking at Glenwood Hall. Parking so that people can use the park, so that people can use the facilities around Glenwood Hall, and so that people can use the entire frontage along 611 at TLC Park. The municipal building, the old municipal building, is set back from the road. It's visible from 611, but it's not highly visible. And I mean, for goodness sakes, it doesn't matter if we provide an alternative space. The purpose of the alternative space is for like military bases, sensitive areas, not a public children's park. And just the last thing I want to address is the protest having a skull and crossbones there. For goodness sakes, there's a member of our planning commission circulating a card with my name on it that you all just appointed to our environmental advisory council. He's circulating a card with a skull and crossbones on it with my name on it, both online and apparently passing them out in public. I'm floored that this board would even consider doing something like this. It's completely unacceptable. It's government overreach. It's treading on our citizens, and we should not accept it. Thank you very much.
Madam President, if I might, and it is easily accomplished. We've seen it twice now on the board. We drift into content. Content is irrelevant to this discussion. And content may not be a factor because with the good, and again, it's perception, but with the good comes the evil as far as, and again, perception. Some people think that what the protest recent was evil. Some people think it was good. Some people may think something else. Content is irrelevant. But it's easy to drift into that because everybody thinks it's content motivated. If there are good faith, substantiated grounds to regulate where and how the speech occurs, then that is challengeable, but is one that could be upheld by the township. I don't care what people say, whether they like you, don't like you, hate you, don't hate you, threaten you, don't threaten you. You have a right to do that. That's not the debate this evening. The debate this evening is whether or not this board believes that for public health safety reasons, as enunciated in the motion, that TLC Park is somewhere where this type of gathering, because of the situations and the public health safety welfare of those individuals coming to and from that park to use the government facility, whether or not that is substantial enough grounds to prohibit gatherings there, assembly and free speech. That's really where the debate is. It's not about content, and I will stand here and tell every one of you that if you make any decision based on content, it will be deemed unconstitutional. I say that unequivocally.
Leo, so I have a few thoughts. First of all, I strongly support the First Amendment, and my understanding is that streets, sidewalks, parks have the strongest protections for First Amendment activity, as has been upheld by courts for forever. I do think that you can. My limited research, I'm not a lawyer, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I do believe you can set restrictions based on time, manner. You can't have device amplifying sound. You can't have stages, stuff like that. And in terms of place in parks, I think we could reasonably say, look, you can't stand in the splash pad area. You can't stand anywhere that's going to disrupt. But you can't, my understanding is you can't say, you can't protest in parks, period. You can't protest somewhere in TLC Park. Do I want people protesting in TLC Park? Do I wish that it was somewhere else? That's a separate conversation. But I don't support prohibiting protest in any park. And I think that this conversation should be part of the conversation we were having earlier in terms of, a permitting process for protests. I don't think we should be amending the park ordinance to prohibit protest in parks, whether it's a specific one or all of them. So I don't support this motion. I also I also think it's kind of vaguely worded. I mean, restrict organized demonstrations and protest activities. That could mean numerous different things where necessary to promote child safety. Like I said, that could be, you know, a simple restriction saying you can't be organized in the splash pad area or something like that. I would support something like that, but I don't support just prohibiting protests in TLC Park, and I don't think it's constitutional. So that's where I'm at on it.
I think I obviously disagree. I think a children's park, being that Glenwood Hall is right there, you can put buffers on, right? So many feet around the swing set, so many feet around the courts, around the splash pad. But in TLC, it's so tiny, you're going to eliminate where you could be. There's fishing. I don't understand why it's so important that it's allowed at TLC when you could do it right next door. I don't understand the pushback of letting our kids have a park when you can do it right next door. I don't think that's prohibiting you from doing anything. And then in Mountain View, it's allowed. You want to rent a pavilion? You rent a pavilion. But in TLC, we don't rent anything except you can reserve a pickleball court. And we have other things. We have this location right here. It's an easy walk to 611, the old building, easy walk to 611. 611 on Glenwood Hall, big front yard. You could set up chairs, signs, same traffic that you'd have at TLC Park. I don't see big deal. I really don't. But I think the details can be worked out. Charles had an ordinance that he had put out there for us to look at. And then I've done my own thing, and I just think we should take the two of them or three of them or five of them if there is five and put something together, because as Charles himself admitted, without something we can't prohibit it, but with something we could either permit it, allow it, restrict it to buffer zones, whatever. But I'm not saying it's all out. I'm just saying let's discuss it and let's try to come up with something we can all agree with.
Oh, sorry, Mike, were you going to say something?
Yeah, the Veterans Memorial Park is there. And having people marching up and down across the front of the Veterans Memorial Park is downright disgusting. That's just my opinion, but it's the Veterans Memorial Park. I don't think it should be sullied with people marching up and down and across when they can walk across the driveway and go to Glenwood Hall with the nice grass, and they can march up and down the nice grass. They don't have to go and just march in front of the Veterans Memorial. I think that's just disgusting.
Matt,
no comment from the audience, please.
Wow. You'll have a chance.
You'll have a chance.
We're still on board discussion.
Madam Chair, if I may have the floor.
Sure.
First of all, that's what our veterans fought for Pete's sake. I mean,
don't disrespect.
It's not disrespectful. That is the most respectful thing you could do, is to express the rights that they fought and died for in this country. Second, I'm a little surprised to be having this discussion because, yes, I did send out an ordinance that I wanted to work on with the commissioners that creates a permitting process like all of us seem to want here. It's very simple. Under 100 people, you submit a basic application with your name, where you're going to be, why you're going to be there. No fee. It's approved. You can be there. Over 100 people, we'll ask you to submit a plan. You know, if you're going to have a lot of people, we should want to know where those people are going to park. We should want to know if you're going to have medical facilities, basic stuff like that. You know, just so that, again, we know that people are going to be safe when they come to Pocono Township. That's just reasonable. That's perfectly reasonable. The only reason I don't have it on the agenda tonight is because I was circulating it with local organizers because I wanted to get their feedback on it, as well as the board, because I hadn't received feedback from all of them yet. I wanted to make sure I got a diverse array of opinions on it before I brought it before this body, because I didn't want to go off half-cocked and have a bunch of people here showing up yelling at me because I tried to take away their First Amendment rights. I wanted to make sure I was protecting everyone. And this is a very delicate subject, and we need to take it seriously. So, thank you.
Madam Chair, could I
yes
have a comment?
Sure. Go ahead, Jim.
From a safety perspective, I think we all have to look at this as we've spent a lot of time and money over the years to remove a basketball court. that brought profanity, violence, and drug use. We had families complaining on a regular basis about the smell of narcotics that were being used by the participants at the basketball court. Granted, this last protest was very peaceful, but it's not just about this protest. It's about opening this up to all protests. And I don't know how any protest you can predict who's going to come show up and or counter your protest and counter protest in the area. I think it's unfair for us to do. I'm all for First Amendment rights, but at this location, we really have to consider safety of the children that are there playing, because we eliminated the basketball court for those purposes. And I don't know how you can sit here and say, anybody can sit here and say that a protest doesn't bring violence, doesn't bring or couldn't bring these elements, because we see that across America. It does. And I don't think we should have that in our town. That's what we should be looking at, controlling it and taking them away from the children that are playing in our parks, moving them to locations where we can better monitor and control the situation. That's just my opinion.
I would just go back again, and Leo, I don't know if you want to speak about this, but my understanding, again, is streets, sidewalks, and parks have the highest protection for First Amendment rights. I understand the concerns. Part of the permitting process would be so that the police are prepared to be there, know how many people are going to be there, have a plan with parking if it's going to be over a certain threshold. Keep them out of the splash pad or whatever area, you want to keep them out of, have them somewhere that's going to be least obstructive. But Leo, I don't think you can just ban protests at TLC Park. I think that would be easily challenged and we would lose.
You are correct that parks, sidewalks, streets get the highest scrutiny. You're absolutely correct, Commissioner Long. The question is whether or not balancing public health, safety, and welfare at TLC Park. That's the balance as to whether or not will we be sued? Likely. It'll be challenged. And if any part of it looks like it's being done because of content, it'll be stricken down immediately. There's no question about that. Before an ordinance addressing this is prepared, I think it needs to be further researched to determine what those health, safety, welfare issues truly are.
Madam Chair, if I may have the floor just briefly. I don't understand why we're maligning basketball here. We just had our pickleball net slashed the other day, and I believe we just caught the guy. It's a park. People come there, young people go there. Sometimes they get rowdy. It's a park. That's what happens. Sometimes things get damaged. There's nothing we can do about that. We changed it to pickleball away from basketball, and stuff is still happening there. So again, I don't think it's fair to malign particular sports. And to say that that's a reason we should restrict things in our park. Next we'll be taking out the pickleball courts because they're drawing violence. This is America. People sometimes express themselves in healthy ways and sometimes they express themselves in unhealthy ways. But if we start deciding whose ways are healthy and unhealthy, it's not the government's place to draw that line.
Can I just, so this motion, is there an actual amendment that's written out, or is this to draft an amendment? I'm just still confused on what this motion actually is, because I think it's vaguely worded. And is there something
I
specific?
wanted to amend the park ordinance, right? However we want to amend it.
Okay, so this is to
Right.
draft an
Right.
amendment for us to review? Okay. No, I just wanted to understand.
Yep. Any other discussion from the board? No. Any public comment? Yes, sir.
My name is Richard Infante. I'm from East Stroudsburg district. I came here because of this issue, because it's going to affect the other townships as well. Now, this ordinance to restrict is definitely, I think, something illegal. Now, to change it over to a permit, I'm all for that. That's the way it should go. This should be stricken, shouldn't even be upheld. But a permit thing, that's a definite. Because yeah, you can limit how many people are in there. You can take a look if it's going to be anything bigger than that. You can see what are their plans, who's going to be there, and then you can adjust accordingly. And that is the way it should go. But this is the First Amendment right, just blatantly crushing it, and all because of him, a MAGA upholding. Oh, please.
I just want to say that public comment at this point is for residents, stakeholders in Pocono Township. So if you're from Pocono Township or you have a business here.
Thank you
you're
for
welcome.
silencing me. Patrice Lanucci, Bartonville. Code of Conduct for Pocono Township. Due to the special position of commissioners, they have a higher duty than other public officials to avoid conflicts of interest. Respect the act can be maintained only if the commission members are model of ethical behavior. The purpose of this section, then it goes into the numbers, relating to prohibited activities and limitations on voting, recusals, and the guide to commissioners' behavior should meet the highest of ethical standards. Continued division and disparaging members of the community should be viewed as not isolated incidents, but as a broader pattern incompatible with responsibilities of the township governance. Residents reserve the right to pursue lawful and appropriate remedies, and other board members should handle it. And I'm going to read what he wrote about me in Facebook, or should you look at it yourselves? He called me an imbecile and he accosted my husband and I in the parking lot in front of Leo. So it's not funny. Really?
My car, and we had a conversation and you threatened me.
Are you out of your mind?
Sorry, but your time is.
I threatened you with what, Leo? I'm asking you, Leo, did I threaten him? Be honest.
No, I'm being honest. It was a heated conversation.
No, I didn't have any words with him other than, what can I do to make you not have such a problem with me, Leo?
Correct.
And then he screamed.
Okay.
I didn't scream it.
Okay. Patricia, your time is up.
I know.
Never heard me raise my voice.
Are you kidding me? Can't you do it to me?
Time is up. I'm sorry.
Yeah, your time is
Don't.
up.
Do you get that? That's what he does in the parking lot, in front of men. Yeah,
In front of men.
Madam Chair, question of privilege.
because you're not a man. You're a misogynist midget.
Madam Chair, question of privilege. Would we consider local organizers, local regional organizers to be stakeholders in this conversation?
I believe.
Do they represent a nonprofit?
I believe some of them may.
That was part of the discussion from my recollection.
Is it public comment or are these guys going to keep at it?
Yeah.
This is public comment about the motion on
From
the
Pocono
table.
Township, Robert Turnbull. I don't think the issue here is that we're trying to deny First or Second Amendment protest, stuff like that. What we're trying to do is keep the children at the park. It's not like we're saying you can't have the protest. All we're saying is that one section, and the same thing, I don't know how many people have been shot since the pickleball courts were installed, but before it was a major issue there. And they changed everything around. And we're not saying that all you have to do is move down, a couple 100 feet over to the other property. Or, if you take a look at all the things, all the different protests that have gone radically bad, that place at the park isn't really a wonderful, you could come right out of the stream. There's a lot of places there that can be jeopardizing. And who wants to see the kids that are over there as a casualty of something like that? All they're saying is to have the protest down the parking lot where there's great visibility, huge area. You can't say, okay, there's 100 people, this with the permit. How are you going to dictate how many people are going to show up there? Okay, I'm just letting you know. It's not like we're trying to say, we're suppressing your First and Second Amendment rights. We're not letting you have protest stuff. I don't believe that's the issue here whatsoever. All right.
Thank you. Jim?
I just want to clarify my applause when Joe spoke before. I like the fact that there's more parking in front of the municipal building. I thought that was a good idea. Charles, I don't want to tell you where to go. I admire your activism. And I don't want to see it diminish for sure. This other stuff, whatever. You know, windmills cause cancer, 8647. Come on, man. You know, sharks in fresh water.
Monica?
Monica Garrity, Henryville. A couple of meetings ago, we were talking about charging for parking at the park and how it kept people away to play with your son, if you remember. So I asked my son, who's 14, just turned 14, if there was a protest going on at the park, would he want to play? And he said, no, I wouldn't go there. The kids today are disgusted with politics for both sides. The fighting that's going on, they don't even want to watch the news. My son doesn't want to watch the news. Mom, why are you watching that? Because it's the fighting that's going on in this room. That's what the kids are seeing. And I think we can move it down to Glenwood Hall. The kids can play and just be in their own environment and just play. That's all they want to do. And I think I question why it would have to be at a park. I mean, 12 people, you know, I oppose the gas tax too, you know, but I don't know that being at the park, 12 people is going to make a difference. I've been involved in protests, but I go to Harrisburg where it matters, you know, so I think ask the kids. We have an environmental committee for the environment. Go take a survey and see what the kids want. They're the ones that are going to be at the park playing. Ask them.
Thank you. Any other public comment? Oh,
Yep, sure.
and then you, Cheryl.
Yep, I'm gonna agree with that. I'm all for protesting. I'm all for gathering. I don't care for either party and their shenanigans right now. So I'm with those kids that don't want to hear it. I don't even watch the news anymore. The gas is out of control. It was out of control for 168 days under Biden. It's been out of control with Trump. When that happened with Biden, I went and bought a Tesla. I own Teslas now. I don't pay for gas. And that's the biggest thing you can do is just go buy a Tesla. Then you don't have to pay for the gas.
Thank you. Cheryl.
Cheryl Parks, Tannersville. I love the First Amendment, and I don't, you know, I might not like what you say, but I will defend to the death your right to say it. But as a mother and grandmother, if I want to take my children to the park, if there's a protest going there, we're not going. We're just not going because of that. I think as long as there's another area that's provided, then that would be good. But I just don't want to subject. And again, there's only so much regulation you can do with that kind of thing. So I'm thinking if it's someplace else, whether it's Glenwood in front of the old municipal building, there's more room. And then I don't have to say, oh, there's all these people protesting. If I had a grandchild that day, we wouldn't gone. Just because I don't know what's there. But I mean, I really think the First Amendment is, you know, I'll defend it forever. But I think in this case, with the bigger playground it is, it should not be there. Thank you.
Thank you.
What I read was an ordinance, your ordinance. He doesn't abide by the ordinances and they are not enforced. Why would you make another one? That's my point. Why more ordinances? Why not ordinances for 120, 200 feet of no building near people's homes? Or not blasted? Why an ordinance for what we already have First Amendment right to do? Why? It's already covered. We have Second Amendment rights. I have the right to enjoy my life in my home without involvement. There are constitutional laws, right? There are civil liberties. We don't need an ordinance that it's not going to be enforced because these aren't enforced. And they are he lies in public and it's not okay. And he's laughing.
I'm laughing because you're.
Is there someone online? Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Your name, please. Online?
There, can you hear me now? Robin Kunz, I'm in Pocono Haven. I just wanted to say that I went to the library and when Charles was there and we were right at the township building, which has excellent parking in and out, very easy to get to. Typically, there's no traffic, but when we do go up by where the park is now, sometimes it is hard to get across, especially with all the construction going on there. But traffic coming out of Wendy's and all the things going on. And I think because since we have the space and the place for, which is bigger down at the old township building, there's no reason to infringe on the children. I mean, it's a wonderful place for them to go. And like some of the people have said, I wouldn't bring my kid or my grandchildren, so I bring my grandchildren to the park. So again, he's done the protests, as I said, for the library. I was there the same time as Charles. And I don't see why there's such a big, we have a place, an alternate place to go. There's no reason that we have to do it down at the park. That's my thoughts.
Just to clarify for the board, information, the protest for the library was on fire company property. That entire grass strip out in front of the municipal building, that is not township property, that's fire company property. So I don't know that the library protest was granted special permission, but the township can't deny people the right to protest, whereas a private organization can. So.
Okay.
And your point isn't that space is public. It's not private property. I mean, it's the firehouse. I'm sorry, I didn't know the lines, but there's so much room down there at the old township building, whether it's even go to the baseball field or something like that. I mean, there's plenty of place to have a
I'm
public
sorry,
gathering.
ma'am, your time is up. But thank you. Anybody else online? Okay, so we have a motion on the table. And a second, we'll just do a vote. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Dan?
Yes,
Commissioner Lee?
absolutely.
Commissioner Marty?
No.
Commissioner Long?
I'm a no on this motion. I think we should look at establishing a permitting process, but I'm a no on amending the park ordinance to deal with protesting.
No.
Motion fails.
Mike, did you mean to vote no? I thought you wanted to
Well, I
restrict.
seconded it so we could discuss it.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, because we don't need any ordinance about protests.
Okay.
That's what the police are for, fire hoses. That's in my report.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we approve the social media policy that was been circulating for some time now. Is there a second?
I would like, Charles, as parliamentarian, you can correct me, but I'd like to make a motion to table so we can discuss this when Natasha's here.
It would be a motion to postpone
Well,
to.
there was no second, so
Yeah, oh well.
we already had a motion on the table, right? So there's no second, so that fails. So that, go ahead.
I'll make a motion to postpone till the next meeting.
I'll second that.
Discussion?
Was the current draft included in the packet for this meeting?
No, it's been so old, but
I've seen it in our email, but
I'd like the latest draft to go out with the agenda where we're going to be voting on it too. So if we're going to be moving it to the next meeting, I think that would be great to get that in there for, public
Sure.
to review as well.
if we could have that with the next agenda. All those in favor?
Aye.
Next, I'd like to make a motion to schedule a work session regarding the in lieu of fees and the manager's ordinance, so we could tackle those two things. But Leo, are you at a good place with that in lieu of fees? Or John, somebody?
I turn to John only because that's how we divided up the work.
We're working on a draft. I can't tell you definitively when that's going to be done. I hope within a couple of weeks, but.
So if we schedule it a month out or
I think,
longer
yeah.
than a month
Either that or schedule it next
meeting.
commissioner meeting.
Okay.
Okay, and what about the manager's ordinance then? The board? If you want that in place before we get a new manager?
Do we have a manager rule?
Yes. But I think we should revise it.
Oh.
Okay, then we'll move on. I guess that's dice. Very good. Next, we need a motion to approve the amended Park Advisory Board bylaws.
Second. For discussion.
Okay. Discussion?
Yeah, what, pardon my ignorance, but what's the Park Advisory Board?
That's the board that we made over a year ago, and now Brian is running it. Yeah.
So
the park.
So,
that-
yeah,
that part.
We're rewriting the bylaws.
Oh, okay, all right.
there's just a couple minor changes because of changes to positions that are required for
Okay.
the park.
All right, well, I'll second it irregularly.
Any discussion?
I'd just like to say, I don't like that the park manager automatically serves as the chair of the board. I think that the board should be able to elect their own chair or be appointed by the commissioners. Not that I don't think Brian's qualified, but I do think that, all of our other boards, we appoint their chair. We don't decide the chair for them. I think that the park manager should be a member of the board, but I don't necessarily think that they should be definitely the chair in perpetuity.
I believe that it's a term, right? Isn't the park board has terms?
So yeah, and just to respond to Commissioner Kepler's comment, it had been previously approved by the board that the position that is being replaced now by the park board would be the chair. But I mean, we could say that they would be the initial chair and then for a short term, I think the interim position.
It was the events coordinator.
Yeah, it was the events coordinator that was listed. So that's fine.
If we could postpone this to our next meeting, I'd like to make a motion to postpone and make that change because I do think, or Leo, since this has gone out like this, can we make a motion to amend this here and then vote on it, or would we need to circulate the amended draft before we could vote on it?
You can amend it here and then authorize solicitor to draft something to confirm that amendment. Or you can wait until there's an amendment, formal amendment, and then vote on that.
I'm not sure what you're amending.
I just don't think that the park manager should necessarily serve as the park board chair. I think that, again, either we should appoint them or they should be appointed by the park board themselves. I don't think that we should have it automatically be an individual person. Because I mean, if that person decides they don't want to do it or they're not able to do it for whatever reason, we need to be able to delegate a chair to stand in. I mean, the last park board didn't get off the ground because we didn't have a chair who stepped up. So we need to make sure that we do in the future. And I think that the best way to do that is by either appointing someone we know will be able to do it. And we may choose to appoint Brian. But again, in the future, we want to make sure that this is the bylaws that we're putting into place here. We want to take them very seriously and make sure that we're planning ahead.
Then what about doing the same thing we just did with the EAC? Put Brian in as the temporary so they can have their first meeting and run it and elect a chair.
That's fine, but we can't approve these bylaws because the bylaws say that he will serve as the chair.
But does it give a term in the bylaws? Does it say he'll be the chair until he drops dead? Or he'll be the chair until they have a meeting, or for 3 months or 6 months, or 8 days? Is there a term listed in the bylaws?
It says the park manager shall serve as chair of the board. I mean,
Okay.
that seems to be, whoever is currently serving as the park manager in Pocono
And that's a
Township.
problem. Why?
So we could amend that right here and now is what Leo was saying, just like we amended the EAC. And then,
Yeah, so that's what I was proposing. If we
Yeah.
can just amend it now, I'd like to make an amendment to strike out the park manager shall serve as chair of the board in the proposed bylaws, and replace it with the park manager shall be appointed by the Board of Commissioners at the time of at the reconstitution meeting. Would that be correct at the reconstitution meeting, or
you say that,
You just said the park manager will
Yeah.
be appointed.
I guess you-
Oh, I'm sorry. I meant the chair of the Parks Board. My apologies. The chair of the Parks Board would be appointed by the Board of Commissioners at our reorganization meeting annually.
Okay, so who's going to be the chair starting next week?
We could decide that as a separate motion if we wanted to add that to our agenda. We're not voting on that. We're voting on the bylaws.
Okay.
all right, so you want to amend the bylaws that the Board of Commissioners picks the chair, is basically what you're saying, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Which is the same as the EAC.
Yeah. What we do and I think the Planning Commission as well.
No.
They select their own. Oh, do they select their own?
Yeah.
So my question would be to the commissioners then, would we prefer that they select their own or that we appoint them? I think that they should select their own personally. I think that they would function better if they decided it themselves.
And we kind of just said we were going to do that with the EAC too, right?
Yeah.
So keep them the same. Yeah,
Sure.
I'm all right with that.
Okay, so then
Pick their own.
Yep.
I will make a secondary amendment, striking out my previous amendment and making the amendment that the the park board will elect their own chair.
Ta-da.
I'll second that. Any other discussion? Public comment?
No.
Anybody online? All those in favor?
Yep.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Next is the motion to approve the MCTI rezoning map.
I'm sorry, did we vote on we voted on the amendment? Did we vote on the actual approval of the bylaws?
I don't know what's your motion. Can you read the motion back? Is that possible?
He's saying the motion on the agenda
No, we
to approve the board bylaws.
yeah, we made a subsidiary motion to the main motion to amend the bylaws, but now we have to move back to voting on the bylaws themselves.
Okay, gotcha. Go ahead. Did you want to make that motion?
Oh, well, the motion's already been made. We just have to take the vote. You have to call the vote.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Okay. Okay, next, we need a motion to approve the MCTI rezoning map and to authorize the township solicitor to advertise the hearing. But I'm just going to say this before we get to that. Leo, can you take time to look into Mr. Burns' concern first?
Yeah, let me tell you where we are. I have a copy of his deed. Thank you very much, Mr. Burns. I also have a copy of the plan that's referred to, but I haven't had a chance to digest those this evening during this meeting. But with that, between John and myself, should be able to come up with an answer. In other words, we just received the documentation this evening,
Right.
so you may want to postpone this for at least a couple weeks.
Okay.
Ellen, this is Dennis from MCTI. Our attorney also has those same plans.
I don't know who's speaking.
Yes. From MCTI.
I'm the director at MCTI. Sorry I couldn't be there tonight, but our attorney also has the same plans.
Dennis, who is your solicitor?
Mark Fitzgerald from McNeese, formerly of Fox Rothschild.
Thank you.
And I'm going to make a motion to postpone the MCTI rezoning map until our next meeting. Does that give you enough time, Leo?
Yeah, that should be fine.
Discussion? Public comment?
Our question. Who works on the maps to have them made into zoning? Would the planning commission?
We draw the map.
You draw the map?
The Board of Commissioners, yays or nays, the zoning, right?
Well, yays or nays, but who works on the map to get it to you? That would be a conflict of
Well,
interest
it
if you
goes to the
worked for
planning commission and
MCPI
County,
to be working on the map? Would it be?
no, they want to see what they want. They have
Well,
the
I'm
right to
asking
see
you a
what
question
we're
about
looking at.
if you worked for MCTI, it would benefit you. You're financially paid through MCTI. If you're a planning commissioner who's working on a map to get those lots for MCTI, would that not be a conflict of interest? And if you didn't recuse yourself, should that have been worked on by that person? Is what I'm asking.
One of you answered that because I who draws the map. I mean,
Or
I-
works on, approved it to come to you?
Okay, the planning commission is a recommending body,
Right.
so it goes for review and a recommendation. The board of commissioners is free to either concur with that recommendation or oppose that recommendation. So ultimately, it's this board that decides whether or not any amendments to the map would be approved.
But if you're in the planning, and you know you have a conflict of interest, shouldn't you not vote on it?
It depends on the nature of the conflict of interest. In other words,
If you're an employee of the place that it would benefit from the rezoning, that would be.
I'm not an employee.
Is there?
It's on
is
your
there-
resume.
Is there?
I substituted as a welding instructor
present.
many years ago.
It says present.
I can confirm
That's
he's
what it
not,
said.
he's not an employee of MCTI. There is no MCTI employee in the
that's
planning
The
commission.
information that's public. So,
Thank you.
Thank you. That was my question.
Okay. Any other public comment? No, we're good. Was that a motion to table?
There's a motion to postpone.
Oh, to postpone?
Yeah.
We probably shouldn't have had public comment.
Oh, no, so the reason to do a motion to postpone is because it allows debate on the topic.
Okay.
A motion to postpone or a motion to table is supposed to be an emergency or like to get an immediate question answered. And that's why it doesn't allow comment or discussion.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. We need a motion to approve the purchase of a hot water pressure washer, which was budgeted for in 2026, and it looks like it's coming in under budget. So
I'll make that motion.
Second.
discussion, I don't know, Pat, if you wanted to say anything, how did that come in under budget?
Quite a bit under budget.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got 3 bids and this was the lowest bid and yeah, we need it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yep. Any other discussion? Public comment?
Right, I'll let you go.
Not on this one, but on the other one, I had a public comment.
Okay, we finish this motion and then we'll get back to you.
Okay, thank you.
Any public comment on the motion on the table? So, anybody online?
Wow.
Okay. Joe? Oh. No, okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carried. Go ahead, Jack.
Would you rather stand? You could, right? No, you're not.
To get back to the one with the motion that you tabled, or what did I said table, but that's not what you did, but
Postponed it. till-
postponed it.
Yes.
Will we get ample notification of your decision to have this meeting? When you're going to have it with enough time for me to do what I have to do?
It's the Board of Commissioners meeting. so that's
It'll
the
be at the next.
first Monday.
You want to know as soon as we find out? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, I want to know
I-
as soon as the meeting is scheduled and at what time and where so I don't want to have to miss it in the newspaper and, end up.
It'll be June 1st, 6:30. Right now, we postponed it to the next meeting, which is June 1st.
Oh, 6:30.
Did I say 6:30?
Yeah.
Sorry, Barrett's 6:30.
The reason I'm asking is I've more than once said that I've put in for party status, and I expect to be treated with party status.
Yeah, June 1st, 6 p.m. right here.
I would
Okay.
just note that that meeting is where we're going to be scheduling the hearing, so we're not actually going to be voting on the amendment that evening. So if you want to come to comment on our actual adoption of it, you would probably want to keep an eye out, as you said, in the paper for that advertisement, or, you know, it'll be advertised on our website, all the places we typically advertise, you know, when we have our hearings. So if you don't want to
Okay,
come
well,
back and sit
I'll-
through
I'll
another
try
meeting, we're already
try to
doing
keep up,
schedule
but
something.
you never get an answer from the township and the newspaper. You know, well, you don't get many answers in the newspaper either. So,
If the board would like, when I post the properties for the hearing, when it is scheduled, or if it is scheduled, I can personally deliver one to them as well.
That would be great.
That'd be great.
yes,
Thank you. Thank you.
super. That's what I was looking for. Thank you.
Thank you.
What is your address?
120 Bocheck Road, Bartonsville, 18321.
We gotta do the temporary usage.
Yeah.
Funny, Votech Road, sounds familiar.
Thanks.
I do.
Peer review by the next meeting, do you think?
Okay, next is the motion that we had added earlier on. We need a motion to appoint a chairman of the Environmental Advisory Committee. Temporary chairman, sorry, right? So I'm going to make a motion to appoint Jim Pellegrini.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? Jim, you want to run the first meeting until the board can decide who they want to run the meetings? Is that? I can give you a copy of the ordinance, and I had emailed a sort of kind of agenda to get us going. You can tweak that if you want, but
The emails that I received, there was an agenda.
I just sent that today, the agenda. Yep.
I have.
Okay, but I can get you a copy of the ordinance so that you know what the topics are. Yeah.
Thank you.
Any public comment? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Jim, if you'd like, I can lend you my copy of Robert's Rules to brush up on your parliamentary law in advance. Just let me know.
Okay, I just had a few things. I might skip some of them. For our Environmental Advisory Committee, I believe this first meeting is not going to be Zoomed, and the board needs to decide whether or not they want to Zoom it and incur any costs that would be associated with that. But for this first one, we don't have necessarily time to get that going. But I don't know how the board feels, because I don't believe anybody's going to be here to run it. I don't have a problem with it. People who can't make it that are on the board can dial into my cell phone. We'll put them on speaker or on my cell phone. It wouldn't be public participation by Zoom necessarily. So,
I think we should check if the resolution we adopted covers this. If it's not in the bylaws, then I don't think we necessarily have to. If it's not in the resolution, unless it's in the resolution that we adopted about, posting our meetings, but I don't know if that applied beyond the commissioners meeting. I'd have to look that resolution up, and maybe we should do that rather than making a decision here. I know that this is time sensitive though.
yeah, I mean, the first one will not be Zoom. I mean,
Yeah.
it won't be. But,
So maybe we should review that and see what's required. And does the Sunshine Act require that all meetings are dial in, or
no?
I mean, I'd always prefer more transparency and greater accountability, and I'd like to try to be here to do it myself, but I do think that the township should be responsible for it in the long run. I think we should try to figure out a way to do it. however we decide in the future. I think it'd be worthwhile to live stream it like we do everything else, or at least record it and make the recording available.
Yeah, the only thing is when you advertise it, that it's gonna be a meeting on Zoom, and then something happens and you can't have the Zoom, then you gotta cancel the meeting. That's my only concern.
I would say, since it's just my opinion, since it's just a recommending body, I think we should record it. We should teach somebody how to start the recording, post the recording, but not Zoom it necessarily, because again, that introduces a lot of variables, and they are just a recommending body. People can still make a public comment in person, but that way it maybe takes a little of the burden off. What do you think about that?
You mean just, yeah. Yeah, that's all right with me. No Zoom, just a recording so people can see what happened.
Yeah, exactly. And since that's the way our minutes are done too, that would make it simpler for Chris Ann and everything. Or whoever's preparing the minutes.
Okay. Yeah, okay, so we don't really need to do anything right now, I don't believe. We'll work on that. And I did have a question on Ruby Lane. Cheryl's still here, so I'll ask her. I know they cut the trees down, and then I heard the trees weren't removed, but have they been removed now?
They did it. They removed it.
Okay, thank you.
We have, am I gonna get any kind of, are we gonna get any kind of notice as far as the blasting? What are they gonna do? The roads, if anything? Again, they've taken those trees down, and we should have at least been able to know where the 10-foot. But it's done now, so it doesn't matter.
So Paul, do you have any answer to that, or?
So I have spoken with the supervisor of the site. Based on the geotechnical report they have, they don't foresee having to blast for the pipe. Obviously, if they do hit rock, they will, and their permit does cover that. If they do, they are going to let us know in advance, so we can let the neighboring properties know that there will be blasting.
It's the whole thing about us getting blasting schedule, and then between 10 and 2, that's gone. We're not doing that. They're not doing anything.
I believe we're still posting them on the township website. Are we? The blasting? No. Okay.
Well, I didn't see it.
Well-
And the 10 and 2 window, that's gone. We're not doing that. And does anybody have any idea how long it's gonna be? It started out to be 2 weeks, 4 months.
They said they're about I think they're like 80% done at this point with all the blasting. So they should be done relatively soon. Obviously, weather dependent. If they come up against a giant rock or something, they may have an extended time. But
Cheryl, the other thing you're gonna see, if they do have to do trench, which hopefully they don't, based on what Paul's saying, trench rock is different than bulk rock. The bulk rock is what they've been shooting. Trench rock is a lot less impactful.
Well, because I'm not gonna have that.
No, I understand. I understand. And they are, as of last week, they were beyond 80% complete. So I guess if there's a silver lining, that might be your silver lining.
I just have one quick question. The road that you're gonna have to put a road up there to monitor those lines, right? The wastewater and
There's an easement there. There's an easement there. That'll remain unplanted. It won't have trees where the pipes are located.
okay, well, I guess what I'm asking is there gonna be access for staff and that anybody can just come up there?
No.
Thank you.
Thank you. Matt?
I'm good. I got nothing. Thank you.
Okay. Mike?
Oh. Okay. The rumors of my resignation are greatly exaggerated. In recent days, I was contacted by people saying, Mike, did you resign? Geez, I missed one meeting and everything goes down the drain. I don't know. For the record, I don't think we need an ordinance to control protests or demonstrations. That's what we have the police for, and fire hoses. The First Amendment allows people to gather and protest whatever offends them in an area that's safe for all involved. And once they get out of hand, then the authorities would have to come in. Also, for the record, I am not in favor of any increased costs brought about by the Cockamamie Police Cost Recovery Ordinance or the amusement tax increase proposed by some members of this board. So last week, somebody decided that it was a good idea. Oops, went away. Big fat fingers. Last week, somebody thought it was a good idea to tear up our nets at the park, which that's terrible. You shouldn't do stuff like that. So my opinion is, and I made the opinion clear a couple of meetings ago, that maybe if we were charging people to get into the park, people who live out of county, and charge them to park there, perhaps we could stem some of this tragic behavior. The majority of the board voted to not charge people. So, well, that's what you get. So that might have cut down on on damage. I don't know if the people who did the damage were residents of Pocono Township.
They were, right?
I have no idea.
I believe they were.
Okay.
So
or what? But we had people coming down, and the reason we got rid of the basketball courts is because there was a shooting. Okay. So that's just my 2 cents on that. And I want everybody to remember that next Monday is Memorial Day. Memorial Day is not intended for beer and hot dogs. It's not intended to be the first weekend of summer. Memorial Day is a day for us to reflect and see if we're living a life that's worthy of the sacrifice of the people who gave their tomorrows so that we can live in the greatest country on earth today.
Amen. That's it. Charles? Can I say something real quick? Very quickly. Our amusement tax is capped already. We're already as high as we can be with the amusement tax. We can't legally raise the amusement tax, Mike. I don't know how many times I have to tell you this. What we're talking about with the amusement tax is making sure that everybody is paying the amusement tax fairly in Pocono Township. Right now, I do not believe that is the case, which is why we've had that discussion. And I already said, but my understanding is the person who damaged the pickleball nets was a Pocono Township resident. So, saying that the parking fee led to it is wrong. And I
didn't say it led to it. I said maybe it would have stemmed it.
Well, it wouldn't have.
Well, you know what? Maybe. That's what the word maybe means.
Well, I would have just found out the answer to that before tying that together. But that's all I got, Charles. Sorry. Go ahead.
Thank you. Just a few things. Pat, were you going to get to the AED in your report?
Actually, I've included it under our solicitor's report.
Okay. Yeah. So we'll hold off on that one till we get there. I did want to ask you about the speed limit on Cherry Lane Church Road. I know that I had reached out to you earlier today, or I actually reached out to Officer Miller because I know he's running Operation Speed Bump, trying to get some of the speeding under control in the township. And you had written me back that there was an issue with us not having a speed study done on Cherry Lane Church Road. Can we not post the speed limit until we have a study done?
That's correct. So, and our engineer can probably provide more detail, but we did a little investigation. Roads that are not have not been studied are the minimum 55 mile per hour roads, and that road has not yet had a study. And again, I actually reached out to our engineer today when I followed up with an email to you. So the board could choose to have that road studied to see if it would meet a lower speed limit, at which point then we could post the speed limit in accordance with requirements so that it would be enforceable.
Will we be able to get those criteria sent to us so we can look at them and decide whether or not we think it might meet those criteria before we get that vote?
I think our engineer in his report will have a comment on that for you. We talked about it a little bit.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And then the last thing I had was just for Leo regarding the data center overlay. I want to try to expedite this. I want to make sure we get this done. I know that we had referred it to our planning commission to vote on, but our planning commission didn't meet this month. So I just want to confirm you're going to have it ready for the next planning commission meeting for them to look at, right?
Everybody should already have it.
Do we have it?
It was a simple amendment, I believe so.
Oh, I don't remember seeing it.
If
I'll
not,
double
if
check.
not, email me, I'll make sure, Charles, but I
Okay.
believe everybody has it and it should be
Perfect.
being circulated, but it's a simple amendment.
Can we schedule that hearing before the planning commission reviews it? So that we don't have to wait until the second Tuesday, or I guess it would be the second meeting of next month before we'd be able to schedule. Can we schedule the hearing before we have the planning commission's comments, since they're just advising us at the end of the day?
The answer is yes. However, if there are any substantive recommendations, changes that are recommended, either by the county or by the township planning commission, then at that point in time, and those changes are accepted, then we have to start the whole process again. So you can set up and you can pick a date, but if there are substantive changes and it's already been advertised, we'd have to re-advertise.
All right, well, I'll consider adding that to the next agenda to get that advertised. That'll still be before the planning commission meets, but I'd like to review the draft and see what it looks like and see if we can anticipate any of those major changes. So, yeah, I'll double check. I may have missed it. That's all I had. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Pat or Jim and/or?
Go first.
Go ahead.
I'm not on the agenda, but I'll jump in as the police chief here tonight. So just to, I guess, set some clarity on the vandalism that's occurred in Pocono Township. We had some vandals vandalize Glenwood Hall. Detective Engelmeyer did a fantastic job of identifying all those juveniles involved and charged them. They're all paying restitution. They're going to do community service. And then recently the nets were destroyed at Mountain View Park and TLC Park. That was a Pocono Township resident. He was frustrated because he got hurt there. So
I think we should specify allegedly. He hasn't been convicted of anything. Allegedly.
He's been identified.
Well,
he's been identified.
Not convicted.
He's been identified and he'll be charged. So we're waiting for the dollar amount of the damages that the charges are contingent upon that dollar amount. So I'd like to thank Erica for her assistance in the investigation. She helped the officers with the video surveillance that led ultimately to the release of information on the suspect, and the public assisted in the identification process. So thank you for that. What's that?
Did he hurt himself playing pickle?
I believe so. I just apparently, I mean, he was on crutches, so he hurt himself playing something up there, and that was how he felt like managing his frustration, I guess. So, so he'll be held accountable and charged, and hopefully we'll be getting restitution through that process. So, earlier today, I sent the police report to you all for the month of April. I'll just summarize our stats for the month. We had 1,152 calls for service. 28 criminal arrests were made. 23 summary arrests were made. 29 traffic accidents were investigated, and the patrol officers had 539 traffic contacts. So that's all I have.
Thank you.
A little good news on the park front. The splash pad's going to open up this weekend. So, so we got that to look forward to.
I think we need it here now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kudos to my public works guys. They worked with the park staff and replaced the roof at Pavilion 1. So we got a brand new roof at Pavilion 1 that we did in-house, save the township some money. And we're also working on the back parking lot area for this building as well. So in addition to doing a bunch of tree work and mowing and all those summer things that we do. So that's my report. Any questions?
Hey, Patrick?
Yes, sir.
The dog walk, do you treat that flea or anything like that, flea chickens?
No,
Has it been cut?
I believe so. Yeah, the guys have been out.
Like, what's through the kid? Oh, the township. And I guess like, and that's a kid part, right? Oh, I don't mean that way, like literally, like where'd you act, like where would people access the park? There's a gate there in the through the park.
Yeah, there's a gate that has the dog park and dogs. These have to use the access.
Oh, okay, I got it.
Zoning? Oh,
So this period, we had 28 permits issued, 18 of them were for zoning. 7 of those were commercial, 11 residential. 9 building permits were issued, 4 for commercial properties, 5 for residential. We had 1 driveway, 14 COs were issued. Enforcement actions, we sent out 2 NOVs, both for junk and trash on properties. 1 NOV for signs, the feather flags, banners, things like that. There was an email sent out to the board regarding a general letter that we'll be sending out. If there's any comments on those, I'd gladly hear those. So we're planning to send that if there's no comment on that. That's a general kind of letter to anyone who owns a business in the township, letting them know what signs may or may not be permitted on the property. And if they are, we ask for voluntary compliance. Again, if we don't see compliance, we may move forward with formal enforcement.
I just want to say those flags are down. So
I did email those, yes.
Yep.
So that was one of the ones that was closed for signs. There was also a TDU, junk, and then 2 for construction without permits that were closed. The civil hearing for 1328 Golden Slipper was rescheduled to the 23rd of June. And then the public hearing for Babbling Brook is still pending. If there's any questions, I'll gladly answer them.
The trailer on Route 715 in Henryville. I think you gave them a notice. Is their deadline up for cleaning it up or?
So the 30 days has passed. They did contact us and they did begin starting work. I did have to reach back out to them regarding the not tearing it down and not cleaning it up. I haven't driven by recently to see, has it been? Okay. So I will reach back out, probably file or give them a last chance to give me an update, and then if not, file with the district board.
Okay. Thank you.
I just thought of something. Can I ask something real quick? The planning commission, our deadline is June 9th for that. And then are we going to appoint at the next meeting? I just wanted, I didn't know if we had decided, what we're doing there. I mean,
We have to interview, right? At our next.
so it'll be the second meeting in June. We'll interview. If the deadline's June 9th. Okay. Okay. All right. Thanks. That's all I need.
Who's next? I think you're up, John.
Thank you, Alan. I don't have a very long report tonight. TLC Park, they have started the demolition of the existing bridge. So that's ongoing. They expect to be pouring footers towards the end of this week and finish the demolition. And they think they're going to be ready to set the bridge probably in about 3 weeks. The bridge won't be delivered in that amount of time, but they'll have their work done. Swiftwater Solar, that work has been completed, Ellen. They're done with construction, with the exception of converting the existing sediment basins to permanent detention basins, which is something they do internally in the basin. I will tell you that there's still an outstanding notice of violation against them by the DEP. Regarding the discharge from 2 of the basins. There is another meeting on that on Tuesday, the 27th, I believe, to discuss it further. The DEP does want them to excavate their discharge pipes from the basin. Swiftwater Solar is pushing back, so we'll see where that goes.
So I guess there's no cease and desist, right? Because
there's nothing ongoing.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and their baffles are in place, and we're not getting the rain that we got a year ago, but the rains that we're getting are being contained. So far, so good. And then to address the possibility of a traffic study, the costs for them generally run between $3,000 to $5,000. This road is on it's a shorter stretch, so it'd probably be towards the lower end. But what you have to understand, PennDOT has strict criteria as to what you must evaluate in a traffic study. You must document it, and then based on that information, you make your recommendations. As Patrick said earlier, in the rural areas, an unmarked road is 55 miles per hour, and PennDOT wants to keep it that way unless there are reasons to further restrict it. If you're in a residential area, 1 acre lots are smaller on both sides of the road, then the speed limit is less. I think you can post those automatically at 25, but that's not the case here. So I would just caution you. I am familiar with the road. I could spend some money doing a traffic study and it would still end up being 55 miles per hour, as much as you might not like that. But the criteria that really has to be present to change that speed would be unsafe sight distance, because you can't see around a curve or over a curve if it's a vertical curve. I don't remember the vertical curves on that road, but the road itself is pretty straight. There's a couple small intersections. Sight distance there may be inappropriate, and that could restrict it. So those are the things we have to look at, but there is the possibility that the study could come back, and we can't just do a study and say, okay, we're done. We're going to post it at 35. But we have to meet the criteria.
I would just say definitely send us those criteria. And I mean, we have a church that walks right out onto it. There are a number of houses that are right up against it. There are a lot of curves, and I know at least one of the curves, you're kind of pointed straight at a house until you make it. So I think it's worth at least looking at. But again, I'd like to see the criteria before we make a decision, so that we can make that decision whether we think it's worthwhile.
Well, the criteria isn't a simple one page. It's like, I can point you to some reference material if you'd like to review it.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, John. Leo?
Thank you, Ellen. As Paul related, the Golden Slipper, that's the hospital sign variance request. As is customary and courtesy, I called between the meetings. I called the attorney for the hospital, told him that I and zoning would be there in objection. He immediately started to call his clients, has gone all the way up. They are reevaluating their request. I suspect that between now and June 23rd, they may make a presentation to the board to see if they can appease the board and the concerns they have concerning size. They may not. They may say this is really what we need, and or they may come in and say, hey, look, we've heard you and we'd look to reduce the signs by X. How do you feel about that? We'll see. All right. AED, you all remember that the Oliver Foundation has agreed to provide for us an AED for our parks or our park. The AED that is to be provided will be locked for security purposes, weather purposes, etc. At that meeting, Monroe County 911 Center was here and was concerned and did not want to participate in the program because of potential liability, because if somebody needed the AED and it was locked, there was a code, they would have to call 911, be provided with the code, then unlock the box and use the AED. The County Control 911 Center has agreed to participate in the program if the municipality agrees to indemnify, defend, and hold the 911 center harmless from any potential claims that could be made. And those include any alleged delay in access to the AED, any correct, outdated, or misheard codes, any alleged device malfunction, any ability of a caller or bystander to retrieve and operate the AED, any allegation that the county control center would have assumed a duty or created a special relationship, any personal injury or wrongful death, survival or property damage connected with the matter. So they have agreed to participate in the program, provided the township indemnifies and holds them harmless. The agreement with the Oliver Company also contains an indemnification whereby the township would have to agree to hold the Oliver Foundation harmless from any claims. So what we're down to is, yes, you can accept the Oliver Foundation AED, understand that it is a locked box with a specific code. But in doing so, you would have to agree to indemnify the 911 call center and the Oliver Foundation. That is something that I think, if the board is inclined to continue to pursue this, that conversation with our insurance carrier and have them review these agreements to make sure that there is coverage in the event of a problem in using the AED that we are providing. So what is the, go ahead, Charles, I'm sorry.
I mean, if I may have the floor, I don't necessarily have a problem with that. I think that, you know, the purpose of this is not to deter theft, from my understanding of what they said, although I guess that's maybe a tertiary benefit. The purpose is to make sure that you start the process, which is critical to the use of an AED, which is to dial 911, and make sure that, you know, there's emergency services on the way. An AED, it doesn't really help if nobody, you know, if nobody shows up to help the person. And so I do think that it's worthwhile. Again, these AED units are expensive. These lock boxes are used across the country in all different municipalities and all different states. You know, they're effective. And, you know, if we're concerned about criminal activity in our park, as some members of the board seem to be, I think it makes sense to have a lock on it, you know, to deter any fear of that. And to make sure that 911 process starts and we can get somebody there to help them, rather than just leaving it unlocked where, you know, 911 may not be notified.
Yeah, I think we should check with our insurance agency and then see what they say. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd recommend that maybe Patrick send copies of both the county 911 center agreement that was provided and the Oliver Foundation, just to make sure we have coverage. If we have coverage, I'm not saying so be it, but if obviously it would make everybody sleep a little more.
And what happens? I thought we had immunity, and is this taking our immunity away? Or
Well, we're accepting the claims against the Oliver Foundation, which is a private foundation that does not have the immunities that we have, and the 911 center. I mean, yes, there are immunities, Ellen, but I'm going to tell you, like many things in the law, they're not absolute.
our police will be there before they get the box open. So
Yeah. Well, in the end, it's better looking at it than looking for it. You know, I agree. We should have the AEDs, and call 911. They give you the code. You open the box. You follow directions, and you know, all you gotta do is do what they tell you. And the thing actually, when you open it up, it says, open the package. It says, put the left one on the left side, the right one on the right. It talks you through the entire process. So at least you give the people that are laying on the ground a chance. So look, I can't imagine anyone faulting us for having this gizmo. Because if it saves one life, If it saves 3 lives, it's done its job.
They won't fault us for saving a life, but for if somebody doesn't get.
Well, look, if it's operator error, that's not on us.
Well, by accepting these indemnifications, at least if there's the Oliver Foundation indemnification says, look, we're going to give this to you and we want you to use it. But we're not going to be responsible if there's any issues, injuries or death. 911 says we'll participate in the program. We'll have a code. We'll provide you with the code. As Charles said, it starts typically with a 911 call. But if there's any issue involving the 911 center, then we're going to indemnify that. If we have insurance, I think it makes the decision a lot easier.
Oh, yeah. Sure.
I'm fine with indemnifying them either way, to be honest with you. But if you have proposed suggestions to the indemnification agreements, then I'm all ears.
They're both. You indemnify and hold us harmless for anything that happens involving the AED, which is why I think we need to make sure that we have insurance coverage for those. And then we come back on June 1st and Pat reports that we do or we don't. We do, I think it becomes a much easier decision. If we don't, and I can't believe that we wouldn't, because we have AEDs in our building here. So, it's not like this is a strange, outer space device that nobody else has. They're around.
But here we'd be accepting
the responsibility of the
for
911 center if somebody is sleeping on the job and they have dyslexia and they juxtapose the numbers or something and they can't get the box open, and the 911 center is sued for that. We agree to pick up their defense. So I'm not looking for any action, but we'll get that last piece of information and then the board can make a decision. Yeah. And unless there are questions, that's all I have this evening.
Anybody have anything for Leah? Make a motion that we adjourn?
Second.
Oh, all those in favor?
Aye.
We want it over here saying that.